had it already. I used it for one school in the US, but I was rejected. So I kept it with the hope of using it in another school. And if I didn't have it, I wouldn't have been here talking to you because they were asking for it. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. Today is another bright day. So I'm back again with another Japa info. So this video is going to be addressing those, or I am making this video to you in case you are thinking of moving to Finland next year, because right now you can't move again for September intake. Okay, you can only move next year. Even if you are in the process of doing anything, I will not even advise you to start the process now. Just prepare your mind towards September next year. So now let's go detailedly and discuss. In this video, listen to me till the end so you actually understand what you need to be doing, like your planning stage, because I think it's very important for you to know what is happening, what's up, if you really want to move. We are going to focus for now in this video for Finland. And in this video, I'm going to tell you the requirements you need to move to Finland. I am going to talk about schools and some of the things you need to know about Finland. I'm going to talk about jobs. Let me indicate jobs and what you need to know about the job situation in Finland. I'm going to talk about proof of funds in case you want to study in Finland. Then I'm going to talk about the application, how you are going to go about the application and the sites or anything like that. Then I will talk about if you can move with family or not, or any other thing related to family or not. Then I will talk about if there is legalization or not, or anything like that, or if there is anything like payment and payment plans. I will talk about it. First of all, please share this video for me, and do not forget that you need to also like the video so that YouTube should recommend for somebody to see. Okay, it's very important to us. Thank you so much. The goal is to make sure many people move abroad so that we can vibe together. I am in the Netherlands. Let me know where you are presently in the comment section. So maybe you never can tell. I may just show up in your country. Thank you so much. Remember, I can go to more than 27 countries. I have my residence permit already. So in summer, let's see how the vibe will begin. Now, if you want to move to Finland, like I always say that there is something called prototyping, right? To me, as somebody who is doing studies now, it's planning stage. Just plan now. And if you are in Finland, know that the requirements you need to apply. You can study in Finland. You can do your bachelor's in Finland. You can do your master's. Okay, there are two types of universities in Finland: normal universities and applied science universities. Note that down. Now, for the requirements, let's not deviate. Requirements, and also remember that you can study in English in Finnish universities. In Finland, you can study in English, though Finnish is the language that most people use. But if you are going to Finland, make sure you try to learn the language, because with the language, you need the language to get PR and citizenship, right? Now, the requirements include, if you are going for bachelor's, your YX certificate is enough if you are Nigerian. Your WASI is enough if you are Ghanaian. Cameroonians, you need O levels and A levels. I'm repeating with a huge, like with my mouth open, because some people are asking me that if they can study with just O level. The qualification for Cameroonian is A levels to go for bachelor's. Now, that is not all you need. Extra requirements include IELTS. Some schools will require Duolingo. So check your school very well. Don't ask Milton. You go check your school website to know now. So that when it's January, you shouldn't tell Milton that you didn't know that you needed IELTS. Look, let me tell you, I applied to the Netherlands using my IELTS exam. Now that IELTS, I had it already. I used it for one school in the US, but I was rejected. So I kept it with the hope of using it in another school. And if I didn't have it, I wouldn't have been here talking to you because they were asking for it. Did you learn a lesson now? Okay, we have talked about the IELTS. You also need to write motivation letters in some schools, not major, like maybe 40% will require for that. Require the motivation letter, will ask you to write a motivation letter. Some schools will also ask you for maybe recommendation letters, but it's rare to see those type of schools in Finland. Okay, these are the requirements that I know. Now, you may understand that sometimes the requirements do vary. Some programs, very few programs may ask you for extra documents like maybe the GMAT or GRE, but it's rare. Now, we have talked about requirements, right? Some schools, I don't know if they are asking for application fee now, but it's rare because they were saying that they will introduce application fee, but I doubt if it's going to hold, all right? Now, requirements aside, the schools in Finland, I mentioned before that there are normal universities in Finland. There are applied science universities. When I say normal universities, I'm talking about schools like the University of Helsinki, Tampere University, University of Eastern Finland, right? Then in applied science universities, I'm talking about Nova University of Applied Sciences. I'm talking about Savonia University of Applied Sciences. I'm talking of the DIAC and other institutions. Now, it now depends on you and the program you want to study to choose which one you are going to go into. And remember, all these universities, some have a joint application, while others have separate application, especially those top universities. Okay, but for the applied science universities, they have a joint application. We usually start January, not February, January, and it ends January. So please put your eyes on this channel in January. All the updates will load very soon. Now, we have talked about the schools. Also remember that when it comes to fees, applied science universities somehow are affordable more than the other universities. You may be charged 15,000 euros for a program at the University of Helsinki. Then you go to maybe Savonia or Novia University. Then you notice that that same program is asking you for 9,000 or 10,000 euros, and possibly with a scholarship. Though those other universities, not the applied sciences, sometimes they offer maybe 2,000, 3,000 scholarships. But also that is notwithstanding the fact that does not withstand the fact that applied science universities also have scholarships. Put this into consideration. Now, we have talked about the schools. Let's go to proof of funds. Proof of funds to study in Finland used to be 6,720 euros. After you have paid your tuition, okay, then you need this money now to enter your bank account. That is after you've paid your tuition. But now there is a new law which is starting very soon. This is October. So hopefully this law is going to commence November. So if you're applying for a study visa, it's not a study visa, by the way, but a residence permit to Finland. You are going to be using 9,600 or more, depending on your situation. Students, you need 9,600. So make sure you check the Finnish Migration Agency's website. All the details are there. Now, remember, this money you are showing it in your account after you've paid your fees already. And most schools in Finland, the tuition are right up there now, especially the applied science schools. Some of them charge 9,000, 10,000, not to talk of the other institutions like the big universities, which like Helsinki, like I mentioned before. So you should put this into consideration. You have to pay your tuition. Some may ask you all the tuition for 1 year. Some may ask you 75%. Some may ask you 25%. Some may say pay early and we give you a discount. Some may say, okay, pay this and then when you come into Finland, you study and earn this particular ECTS, then we can give you a scholarship or you can apply for a scholarship. Things like that, they do operate. But remember, proof of funds to study in Finland is now different. I hope you understand. So it's due to inflations and a whole lot of stuff that the government have said, okay, let us take this amount up because international students, so that they don't come here and become stranded because of maybe living cost is high, rent is high, utilities, bills for utilities are high and stuff like that. So note this down. Then the application, like I mentioned before, there are 2 cycles now for applied science universities and also normal universities. Some normal universities usually start very late, but others, they will always have run till like maybe April. But for applied science universities, which I will always recommend for you if you want to study maybe a bachelor's or master's, is because I will recommend because you can apply to maybe more than 1 or 2 programs. Okay, but for normal universities, I'm not certain if you can apply to more than 1 or 2 programs. But for applied science universities, that is it. Now, remember, we are talking about the application. Application usually starts January 4th for applied science universities. For normal universities, some may be open within that time, but not all. Okay, so make sure you are trying to do your application from January next year, January 4th. And sometimes it takes maximum 3 weeks and the application window is closed. Then they might have to open another one. I'm not talking about vocational schools here, these colleges, Vamia, maybe Rivera, and all the rest. No, I'm talking about the big applied science universities. Okay, now, understand that when it comes to this application, now there are 2 cycles. There is another application round for September. That one just ended. It's not been long for applied science universities. In fact, not all applied science universities. So all this information I'm giving you is for those who want to migrate to Finland next year. Put all these things into consideration, and I hope to see you in Finland in case I visit. But if you pay my flight, of course, I will come. Thank you so much. Then we have talked about the application. Now, can you move with family or you have to move alone? Well, there is a law in Finland which says that international students who are going to study in Finland can move with their families, okay? So you can do your visa application and add your family members as dependents. So I have answered the question, but remember, your proof of funds in this case is not going to be maybe 9,000 or maybe 9,600 again, or maybe even 10,000. It's going to be up. If you are moving, you and your wife, you guys need 12,000 euros after paying your tuition. But if you have children, one child has to be 500 euros times 12. So you add the money to your own proof of fund. Everything is on the Finnish Migration Agency's website. Please check from there so you actually see what you need. I hope you understand. Now, you have to also understand that Finland is a very nice country. So if you want to move there, it's not going to be a problem for you. Just make sure you follow the laws. And of course, if you are eyeing PR or citizenship, stay glued to the laws and don't break them. Okay. Now, is there legalization or not? Of course, there is no legalization at application stage and visa stage for single people. But if you are moving with family, you need to legalize your documents, especially your marriage certificate and that of your children's birth certificate. It's so important because they need to know if it's actually true. Now you need to go through the Foreign Affairs Department of your country or the ministries in order to do this. Then afterwards, you take it to the embassy. And for Cameroonians, you are going to Nigeria to do the application. So please put all these things into consideration. And remember, the schools can give you payment plans if you wish and if you ask them. And for your spouse, they can always work full-time. Like your dependents, they can work full-time. If they're adults, like your wife or your husband, they'll work full-time. But for you as a student, you have a limitation, I think 30 hours a week. Okay, so these are some of the things you should put into consideration and prepare for Finland. I'm going to talk about all the other countries in the European Union. So do not worry. There are how many countries in the EU? You are going to find all the videos here, plus Bulgaria, Serbia, Croatia, all of you asking me. Everything will be here. I hope this helps you.